Good morning and welcome to the show. My name is Sean Smith.
And my name is Prescott Phillips, and this is Brew City Bug Talk.
Good evening. Welcome back to Brew City After Dark.
Brew City After Hours.
From high highs to low lows.
Yep. Action-packed day today.
Today was a rough day.
It was. Where were we?
We were at Tri-State Racetrack in Iowa.
Yeah, we started, if you listened to yesterday's podcast, we were in the Airbnb. There was a lot of us there.
Yeah, I think there was 9 of us there. We had, it reminded me of college. We had people sleeping on
We had people sleeping on the floor, on couches and chairs. You know, and the Airbnb guy, Andrew, I think his name was, we messaged back and forth. Remember when security left his weaponry there? And I said, hey, man, the place is really cool. It's a nice place. And if we go next year, we're definitely going to hit you up for the house. He's like, oh, yeah, you guys left the house real nice. No problem, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, sweet, because I didn't want to ruin that.
Funny story. Everybody found their little spot to sleep on. I slept on the floor. I have I have my camping kit, so I had an air mattress, and I slept on the floor in the dining room. Well, Mike Goody, he curled up on the rug on the floor in the living room.
He curled up. They had a big shaggy rug.
He didn't have they had one of the big shaggy rugs on the floor, and so he curled up on that and went to sleep. Well, it got real cold in the middle of the night, and he didn't have a blanket. But we wake up in the morning, and he's actually rolled up in the rug because he couldn't find a blanket, so he uses the rug as a blanket.
It was interesting. Yeah, we had a pizza party, and it was good.
We got to the track. Yeah, we left the Airbnb and got to the track at about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, Chuck did a bunch of stuff to his car. I changed jets again at the track, or at the Airbnb in the alley there, because I wanted to see how it drove. Just in a little jaunt to the track.
Do you see an improvement?
No, it's running a little fat. 190 mains, maybe even bigger than
Fat is rich, or
fat is rich. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not super bad, but I'm still fighting a tip in. When you're cruising and you give it a little bit of gas, it farts around and leans out. You gotta feather the gas to get it over that. And it's a lot of work. So other than that, the car runs pretty good.
So we got to the racetrack this morning at about 8 o'clock. It's the hottest day on the. It
was pretty warm.
Yeah, so far
but there was a nice breeze, but no shade.
Yeah, luckily Sean Milky had a pop-up canopy, so he put that up. And
yeah,
we were all huddled around that.
We're inside it like a drum circle.
I mean, everybody is super tired from the night before.
Oh yeah, nobody got any sleep.
It's hot out. We're tired. I mean, just you can tell in our voice tonight. It was.
Well, we stopped on the way to the track. We stopped at some grocery store and we bought a case of water and miscellaneous other snacks and stuff. So at least we had water to drink and get.
Yeah, we had plenty of supplies. Everybody was just low energy.
Yeah, low energy. Everybody should have did shots of Red Bull and something, Jaeger bombs or something.
But the worst part of it was, so you guys were running in D group, and today D group was last in the running order.
Dead last.
So we had to sit there all day in the heat and just cook, waiting to get out. They didn't call you guys to the staging line till what?
Oh, it's 2:30, 3 o'clock? I don't know.
No, it wasn't. No, because they closed the track at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think it was more like noon or 1.
Yeah, 12:30. Sure.
So
yeah, they called us and we all got in line, and we all got in line together. Yeah. So we were going to run somebody. A Volkswagen was going to run a Volkswagen because we were all in line.
So they're 1, 2, 3. Clint,
Chuck, and me.
I had his name. I was pronouncing his name before. Shedegger. Clint Shedegger was lined up first. Then it was Chuck, and then
me,
Prescott.
So I was either going to run Chuck or the guy behind me.
No, I think that's wrong, because you and Clint. Oh, that was Clint and Chuck that ran. Yeah, you're right.
Clint and Chuck ran.
It's been a long day. Yeah.
And I ran some dude in I don't know what it was, but he gave me all thumbs up at the end of the track. I'm like, dude, you had no clue how fast my car is. I mean, he had a pretty stout car, and he ran a 1290, and I ran a 1222, and and I'm looking for him in the mirror because I'm on the outside lane to turn onto the return road. So you got to look for the other guy in case he lost his brakes or something and he doesn't T-bone you. So I'm looking for him, and he's slowing down, and that's fine. And then I pull over at the end of the track every time to put the fan belt back on, and he's all smiles and thumbs up. And dude, I just wasted you.
Hey, man, people are out there having fun.
Oh, everybody's thumbs up all the time. It's a lot of fun.
But so Clint and Chuck get up to the line. They both line up. Clint has been having issues with his setup. He's been trying to dial that in since day
he's
one.
messing with the laptop constantly.
And so he gets up there today and he lines up and they both take off and they are neck and neck. It looks like a solid takeoff. They're flying down neck and neck. They get to about the 8th mile and all of a sudden his car just shuts off.
Yep, Clint's car shuts off.
And
he's in the lane I'm in because I'm right behind him, right? I was just ready to light the tires off to do a burnout. And they shut, and I see him pulling over and I just shut it off. And I'm like, yeah, and then the flashing reds came out and
everybody kind of went in panic mode because they're like, did something happen? Did he blow something? What happened? So everybody's taking off, scootering down the track to try and get to him and figure out what's going on. He gets a tow back to the pit area, and it turns out it was just a
the crank trigger?
His crank trigger failed on him. He was actually freaking out because he started troubleshooting everything. At first, he thought he didn't have spark.
And he brought a spare crank trigger.
He hooked up the spare crank trigger. I can't talk right now. He hooked up the spare crank trigger, and it still didn't fire it up.
Yeah.
And then so he's pulling out his laptop, and I think at one point he was like, all right, I'm done. That's it. I'm done. And like we kind of had to go in there and like, no, you got this, man.
He needed a pep talk.
Yeah, he was having a rough day.
We all needed pep talks. We needed cheerleaders for sure today.
Yes, we did.
And we had such a big gang too.
Yeah.
There's so many people there.
So everybody was kind of on him. They're like, you come on, man. You got to figure this out. So he went there and he started pulling out his laptop, started running through, and he started doing some diagnostic. And then he got it to fire off on one of the cylinders. And we're like, okay, that's life.
Yeah.
And then so he went through and he ran a test. And then all of a sudden turns the key, press the gas, boom, lights up.
Things running like it's brand new.
Yeah, everybody was cheering for him.
Yeah, it's like, all right, make a pass. Because we still had time because the all run was going to run.
Well, they weren't done through the D class.
Right, he could get back in line right away.
Yeah, because Chuck wasn't happy with his time. He ran a 12
Yeah, he missed second gear.
Yeah, he was having problems all day. We'll get into that. As soon as he got done running, he went back into the line, and so we had towed Clint back to there, and we were troubleshooting.
So Clint and Chuck were gonna make another pass.
Yeah,
because they needed to.
Yeah, you got to get a time in. So Clint gets up there and lines it up, goes down the track, and he runs like a 15 something.
Yeah, 15 something.
Yeah, he said something was just like his something was completely off, and so he just had a time to turn in. He was happy with that, and he parked it in the pits, and he was like, all right, he's good to go.
But then Chuck made another pass.
And then another pass.
And then another pass. And
then another pass.
And he kept, it's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I keep missing second gear, but I don't remember missing second gear. He remembers reaching for it and putting it in second gear, but it's not in second gear. And I'm like, what?
His launches were spot on.
He left good, wheels up. He goes for second gear and he struggles getting it in gear, and then he gets it in gear, and he miles per hour, And if the mile per hour is there, the motor's still good. So, yeah, he struggled. So, what did he finally run at? Well, I think the second pass was at 12:15 or something like
12:21, I thought. But
well, it's all, it's all.
Yeah, but all whatever. It was around there. Yeah, so after he ran probably 6-7 passes today, it was almost 3 o'clock. Like 3 o'clock, they shut down.
What about my passes?
Well, I thought you explained your pass already.
No, I didn't.
Oh, my bad. So, I apologize, Mr.
I raced behind, like I said, I raced that one dude. Man, well, I didn't say the time.
Oh, I thought
it ran at 12:22 at 107. So my average is.
And he was satisfied. I was trying to goad him to go back
one and done. One and done.
I'm like, oh, you can do better. Come on, let's get out there.
That's the goal. One and done. So my average for the week so far, 3 races, is 12:20. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, you got pretty solid times. You got 2, like, they're all personal best. I mean, other than today, but today it was like the middle of the road of the personal best.
Yeah, right. It's right in with. I'm not going faster or slower. It was between the 2 passes I already made. So
3
finally,
o'clock, yeah. 3 o'clock,
they were shutting down the track, and we were handing in our time slips and getting our route for the route back to Wisconsin.
So mind you, we've been at the track since 8 o'clock in the morning. Now it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, 3:30, something like that.
90 degrees out. There's a wind.
You didn't mention what happened to the pop-up.
I wasn't there for that. I was actually helping.
It went in the trash can.
They're all sitting under the
wind
pop-up.
blew it over, and that was that. and I said, Sean, that's where that pop-up started, and that's where it's going to end, because it was a dumpster find.
Oh, you found it.
It was that's what happens. The plastic breaks, the things fold up in the wind, and people just go, and they just throw it in the garbage.
And Sean's like, hey, this one looks good.
I can fix that one. Well, you find out. Well, you 3D print the broken stuff. And then
I didn't know he did all that.
Yeah, and then it's like new.
That's awesome.
So the thing ended up in a dumpster. So
did it take anybody out when it went down?
Ryan was hanging on one, and then we had screwdrivers holding it into ground, and it was a disaster. So it's like the wind just took care of it. Didn't have to worry about getting that back home. But for
the last couple of hours, we had no canopy, no shade, sitting out in the hot sun, and Chuck's out there doing runs, and
he's hot lapping. It's like, where is Chuck? It's like, he's back in line. I'm like, dude.
I mean, I get it. I mean, that's kind of what we're there for. He wants to get the best time ever, and he wants to, put his car to the test. But it was just a long
I would have been doing that on Friday, not on Wednesday. Our little caravan took off to the Field of Dreams.
Yeah, first
checkpoint.
Which
I've been to. You don't need to go to it twice.
Yeah, the first checkpoint was
it's so
the Field
dumb.
of Dreams.
You can't do a burnout there because it's a gravel road.
That, and they had old lady bus tours coming through there.
Yeah, and it's $20 to get in. It's like, what is this place? This is the stupidest ever. It's a 25-year-old movie that wasn't even that good.
I thought it was good. Quit shit talking that movie.
Well,
we actually watched it last night at the Airbnb.
Did you?
Yeah, they had it on DVD player on repeat.
Oh, jeez. That's fine.
So we get there, and as soon as we pull up, all of a sudden, Clint dives over into the parking lot. And the other guys turn the other way, and so we go into the parking lot, and he gets out of the car. He said, I'm done. I'm out. I'm like, what? He said, it's not running right. It's running really lean. I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm out.
Yeah, I understand. He doesn't want to melt it down. So
he did not want to blow his motor. So he looks at me and says, hey, can you give me a ride to track in Byron so I can pick up my trailer? And I'm like, I guess so.
Guess so.
So that was the rest of my day was
so you took him
2.5 hour drive.
Sean Melky went back to the Airbnb to get
security's weaponry.
Security's weaponry that he left under the bed. And the Airbnb guy left it in the barbecue grill in the yard. I should just leave it in there. We'll get it later.
And we're talking about a pocket knife. One of the kids that are with us, he had a pocket knife that he lost, and he
lost that knife like fine. You lost your knife. Do I still have my knife?
I don't know.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I found yours laying in the grass.
Oh my God, that's a $250 knife. I would have been very sore if I lost it. Thank you.
Everybody's
it was a rough day. Everybody was having a rough day.
That just kept getting rougher.
It gets worse.
So we lost Clint at the Field of Dreams.
So then you guys break off. So what happened? Tell me about, because I went one way, you guys went the other way, and my radar said there were like massive storms.
There was.
So
we missed them, but then we didn't miss them. We kind of went in after them. The roads were wet, but it wasn't raining. But anyways, we never talked about my deck lid falling off.
Yeah, when did that happen?
When we went to that convenience store /
Oh, in the morning?
No, on the route, on the way there, on the way to the Airbnb.
Oh, that was like, we can't talk about that today. That was yesterday. You should have put it in yesterday's news.
Well, it's been in everybody else's car. See, we take the deck lid off to race just because it's dead weight. So, and both mine and Chuck's just pin in. He pulls some pins and it's off. I have a real W deck lid, but where the hinges are, it's all jacked up, and it started ripping that piece of metal right out of the structure of it. So I'm like, this is gonna fly off and kill somebody. And so I just took it off. And who took it first? You?
Sean Milky had it.
Sean Milky had it. And then
he was leaving today, and we were worried because it has your license plate on it.
Yeah, that's the only reason I was worried about it, is because it had the only license plate I have is on that.
So I had it in my car. Sean Milky gave it to me today when he left the track.
Yeah, and I'll fix it tonight. So.
And then when I left them at the Field of Dreams, I forgot I had it in my car. So you drove all the way back home with no license plate.
Yeah, no license plate.
We're breaking the law.
Oh yeah, slightly. Just trapped and just not moving violations. Just vehicle violations. So
the third and last checkpoint for today was Boar's Nest. It's a bar that's in Beloit, Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's in Darien.
Yeah, it's right off the freeway there.
Yeah, it's right off the.
But so I dropped Clint off back at Byron, and then I headed home because we're racing at Great Lakes, which is our home race. So I'm staying at home tonight, and I messaged these guys, and I'm like, all right, well let Prescott let me know when you get home so I can come over and we can record the episode. And they're like, we're not even to the third checkpoint.
We stopped at Culver's to get something to eat because everybody was starving, and we totally forgot to eat the pizza. The pizzas, there was 3 pizzas left over from last night, and they're just sitting in Goody's car. I'm like, why didn't we pull them out and eat those during the day? It was too hot.
Yeah, nobody was thinking about food. Everybody
was just chugging water.
Not to die.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So the Boar's Nest is like, if you know the Dukes of Hazzard, that's the name of what Boss Hogg's bar.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So it's got a General Lee on the roof doing it's doing a jump over the roof of the building. But anyways, it was funny. You looked on Google Maps, and it was a traffic jam in front of it. It was red.
Yeah, I pulled up there because after I messaged him, I looked at my phone, and it was the next exit. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna get off and go hang out and wait for these guys. And I got there, and yeah, they were just doing burnouts all in the road right in front. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're going down the road, and we didn't even see the place. We just seen this big cloud of smoke. I go, we're here. I'm 2 blocks away. You don't even know it. It was wild. So yeah, so we rolled in there, got our pictures for that. But Chuck had a hotel in Pleasant Prairie, so it wasn't too far from there. And of course, I came home.
But yeah, it was funny. So we're pulling away, and I'm looking at my rearview mirror, and all of a sudden I see Chuck in the middle of the road
doing a burnout,
massive burnout, just smoking the tires, laying smoke. I was like, yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Them street tires you got are pretty weak. There's like zero traction. So I'm driving home. Me and Sean's following me, and I get a text from his wife, and I didn't look at it, because I just had my phone laying on the seat, and then
he's doing the responsible thing, not texting and driving.
Right. And then I look at it again, and it's Chuck. It's Chuck, and I'm like, what? There's something up. If the both of them are texting me, so I pick it up, and it's the first one says, it just says Chuck's out, blew the motor up. I'm like, what? And then I look at Chuck's text. He goes, yeah, I'm out. Motor's making noise, bottom end. And I haven't talked. I tried calling him a couple times, but he must be somewhere in no connection land, because I keep calling him and he answers, and then we can't hear each other. So I'll
was
talk
the
to him in a little bit.
End of this exciting, long, hot, busted day.
Yeah, we lost 2 out of the 3. And Chuck said he's going home. He's just going home, going to bed. I'll find out tonight where the car is sitting. And
you can hear from the lack of enthusiasm in our voice that we're both spent.
So we caught the tail end of this storm, and we're driving through the rain, and all of a sudden Chuck's wife goes, there's like an inch of water in the floorboards. And I'm like, what? There's a hole somewhere, and it's just shooting in. And I'm like, and she had her bag of clothes and everything on the floor, and that got soaked. I'm like, oh, this is great. And then we're just driving in the rain, and the car is just...
It turned into a boat.
It turned into a boat, and a muddy boat from all the dust and the rain and driving in the rain. And it's a black car, and it's black. So tonight I'm going to clean it up, do a little maintenance.
Yeah, so sorry for the lack of enthusiasm. Sorry for the lack of joy, the jokes.
The stuff
that we usually bring to this podcast. But we're both just...
We're Yeah.
hell.
Debbie Downer today.
But hey, we are going to be back at this tomorrow because one last man standing,
Yep.
Mr. Prescott Phillips.
Yep.
He's going to be at Great Lakes Dragaway tomorrow. They actually we kind of got screwed on that. Their group is their first runners, so they're running
Yeah,
first thing
we
in the
run
morning.
first, and they're
And then on
starting
top of
earlier.
that, yeah, they pushed back the start time to 8:30.
8:30. Not back. They
Or pushed it forward.
pushed it forward, yeah.
They pushed it one way or another, whatever.
Yeah, it's earlier. So it's a half hour earlier first run. So we gotta get down there, get the slicks put on, blah blah blah, empty the car out.
You have to wake up at like 6 in the morning just to
I
get
am.
there.
I am. That's all right. It's not even 10 o'clock yet.
Yeah.
So I gotta clean up the car.
So if you guys are listening to this and you want to come out and cheer Prescott on, since he's the last man standing, come on out to Great Lakes Dragaway tomorrow.
Get there early though.
Get there early because he's going to be one and done.
Yeah, you can just say you're gonna be late for work.
Yeah.
You don't even have to skip out of work. Just say you're coming in late.
Come see him run at 8:45.
Yeah, and then go to work. I mean, all my friends took off the whole day. I mean, my phone's been blowing up all week. When are you going to be there?
We're going to have to sit down there and drink a lot of beer. Well,
Yeah.
I'll drink a lot of beer. You watch me.
Yeah, I'm going to, depending if I make a good one right away, I'm going to party. But if I got to wait till they all run, if we're first, I wait till they all run, I'm going to be there all day.
Another all-day event. But hey, that's all right. It's our home track. We can go talk to the owner. We'll get up in the booth and we'll
go up in the tower. We'll
have some fun.
Yeah, we'll have some fun for sure.
All right. Well, I think that's it for tonight. We're going to wrap it up because,
I got a lot to do.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, and you guys have a good night.
Good night. Peace out.
Peace out.
Good morning and welcome to the show. My name is Sean Smith.
And my name is Prescott Phillips, and this is Brew City Bug Talk.
Good evening and welcome back to the show. How's it going, Prescott?
It's going good. We're surviving.
Day 4 of 6 summer is in the books.
Yep. One more day.
One more day, and this adventure will be over.
Thank God.
Yeah, well, thank God. I mean, it's been an experience.
Yeah, well, it's been
Highs, lows, ups, downs. I feel like I'm on crack sometimes, but I'm not.
it's hard to wrap your head around. It takes you a couple of days to just process what has happened because you don't know what day it is, what's going on, where you are.
I think the excitement of everything has worn off.
Well, what happens is you get removed from the rest of the world.
Yes.
The rest of the world could be on fire. You wouldn't even know it.
You're so focused on being in this event.
Yeah, this event is all consuming, so you don't know what's going on. I mean,
when this is over, we're going to look back and be like, damn, I wish, I had done this.
Every year I finish it, and these people walk up to me. Every year I finish it, and I say, that's it. I'm never doing this again. This is horrible. And I tell people that. It's like, and then they see me the next year, and they're like, what? So that was the last time last time? I go, every time is the last time. And a bunch of people come up to me saying, oh, you're back. I go, yeah, you forgot about the bad stuff, and you just remember the good stuff.
All right, so it's day 4. Excitement. Give us a breakdown. How did your day 4 run go?
I did a one and done today, and it was so the run order was we were first. D was first.
They pushed the start time an hour or half an hour forward.
Yeah, so 8:30 was the start, but it was raining-ish.
Yeah, this morning.
Track was wet.
This morning, so we're back at our home track today, which was awesome because I was able to sleep in my own bed last night.
Yeah, and I slept at home too, and I started messing with the car because I want I'm home, so I can put on the lift and look at it. Lucky I did.
Yes.
Because I got up at 5. I was too burnt out. I was gonna work on the car and then go to bed, and I'm like, ugh.
It was getting late by the time we finished the recording, and
by the time we recorded and I monkeyed around with the car a little bit, I was gonna wash because we drove it in the rain. It just looked like ass. I'm like, well, I'll just nut and bolt it and clean it up a little bit, and it was ticking pretty bad, and I'm like, that valve adjustment's got to be way off. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Car was already on the lift. I pulled the valve covers off, started adjusting valves, and I noticed, hey, the adjusting nut is missing off of one rocker.
Which rocker do you remember?
It was the intake on 4.
Number 4 intake.
Number 4 intake was missing the rocker and missing the lash cap, and the nut was gone, and so everything was laying in the valve cover. It's super flow head, so the valve cover is pretty big.
When did you realize that it was ticking? Like, what if you can think back? I don't know.
It always ticks. That's a ticky cam. It's a FK89.
Like, was there a certain point where you're like,
no, it always ticks.
Okay.
It was just a little tickier.
A little tickier.
But it was still running fine. So I'm like, well, it's just ticking. It could be side to side. It doesn't always. You can have the lash right and it still ticks because the rocker's sliding back and forth or side to side.
Yeah, there's some movement. There's some play. You want that.
You need a little bit of play, but sometimes there's more than you really want, but you can't.
Yeah, those shims. Those shims don't always. You always don't have the right ones.
You got 15 thousandths to play with. So I mean, if it's got 12 thousandths of slop side to side, I mean, you got to deal with it. You're living with it.
So, but by chance, you pulled the lifters, you started adjusting valves, and you realized you were missing a nut and the lash cap.
Yeah. So I was going to run the valves, and I'm like, so what had happened as a nut backed off, it started smashing on the inside of the valve cover, and it's a ARP nut. It got smashed, and then it boogered up the threads on the end of the adjuster, so I couldn't get another nut on. Luckily, I was home and I have ARP nuts. I had to grind the end of the adjuster so I get unscrewed from the rocker, and I pulled the rockers off and I took them all completely apart because I didn't want to get grinding crap on everything. And so I ground the end of the threads, cleaned that up, got the adjuster out, found a nut, started monkeying around with that. Got that all fixed. The end of the valve was a little messed up from it just not having a lash cap.
Luckily, the push rod didn't fall off.
Yeah, and if the push rod would have fell off, I would have known right away to pull the valve cover.
Yeah, but
it never did. It had 75 thousandths of a lash, and it was just surviving. Wow. It's amazing. Put the rockers back on, adjusted valves. Valve cover gaskets were all mangled, but I just left it, and because I was in a hurry, it was like, and now it was getting late. I had to get to the track, which is like 40 minutes away, and I'm like, I gotta get going here, and it was getting late.
Yeah,
and
we were at the track already. Like, I got to the track, and Mark Goody was there, and I did a lap through the whole pit area, and I didn't see your car, and I saw Mark, so I pull up to him, and he's like, "Did you talk to Prescott?" Mike Goody. And he was like, "Did you talk to Prescott?" I'm like, "No, what happened?" And he's like, "Yeah, he something broke." And I'm like, "Oh my God. If this problem would have happened on the road when we were driving, would you have been able to fix the car?"
Yeah, I brought a whole set of rockers.
Oh, so you would have just replaced
I would have replaced the whole rocker shaft.
Okay. Even the...
readjust everything.
What about the part that you had to grind down and stuff? Would you have been able to...
I put all the rocker shaft on. That's all new. The whole set.
Okay. Boom. I thought you had to grind down the end of a nut or something like that or something.
Oh, I had to clean up the end of the valve, so a big deal. That was
okay. That would have been able to do on the road.
I could have just left it.
That's all I wanted. I want to know if this would have been like a game-ending moment.
No. I bring extra rocker studs, complete set of rockers, push rod, cut the length to the rest of them, but just one of them. But lash caps. So all the valve train shit you got to bring along with you, because that's the number one thing that's going to go wrong, besides spinning a rod bearing.
Yeah.
But so we'll get into that in a little bit. But
so you recovered. You were able to get everything together.
I got to the track. The track was dry. I'm glad it was late because the roads were dry then.
Yeah.
I didn't want to drive in the rain again.
Well, it wasn't raining. Like when I stepped out of the house, the ground was wet, but it wasn't raining at all.
Right, but I didn't want to just drive in more.
You would have to drive through wet.
And I'm ball drag radials are great in the rain, So I'm like, I'll have to putt along anyway, so I'll just wait till the roads are dry and then rip to the track. So
they were running already. Like you had got there late, so your group was running.
Oh, they were in the staging lanes running already.
Yeah, people were down the track already.
And I had to put the slicks on. I had to take the muffler off.
Yeah, you had to go through unload everything.
Yeah, to unload everything.
And then on top of that, you lost your co-pilot.
Yeah, I'd do it all solo.
Yeah,
because Chuck's wife was my navigator or my help. And she went home with her husband, of course, because he was having troubles with his car. So I lost her, And then
we were there. I felt bad because we were there, and you instinct wants to help. Like, okay, let me help you unload the car. Let me help you get
everybody
this
was there. Mike Goody was there. Sean Milkey was there. You were there. They all had to stand around with their finger up their ass.
Yep.
And watch me unload my car.
I was like, I want to help, but I can't.
So I got it all, and I ripped it up to the line. I'm like, oh crap! I didn't check the air pressure. I start checking air pressure, and I'm like, I put my gauge on it, and it says 28 pounds. I'm like, how did this thing gain all kinds of... I'm like, I don't know. And I start letting air out, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's way too much. And I look at my air pressure, my tire gauge. When it's at 0, it was at 8.
Why is that?
Because it flew out of the... One time I made a pass, it flew out of the glove box, and it flew against the back.
Oh, and it bounced.
And it bounced, and it moved the needle.
Yeah.
And I'm like... So now what? And the guy was nice enough to put me in a lane that was moving. And I'm like, oh, great.
Well, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, he goes, are you ready to go? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Well, that line's moving. Just get in it. I'm like, okay. Because he wasn't supposed to do it. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, I let way too much air out of the tires, and I'm scrambling. And lady in the staging lanes next to me says, what do you need? I says, I let too much air out of the tires. I got no way to put air back in. She goes, I'll be right back. So she had a Monkey Electric little air pump deal, and I was running 22 pounds was the magic number. So I wanted some wheel speed so that I wouldn't bog the motor down. I ended up being the last one in our class, the last car in D class to make a pass all by myself.
Yep.
And I had 20 pounds of air and pressure, and I let the clutch fly, and it did a wheelie, and then just... Bah.
Yeah, you kind of fell on your face for a second, but then you hooked up and it went.
And it went, and it was fine. It ran 12:37.
Yeah, which is actually that's faster than the first day you ran. So
no, it's not.
I thought you ran a 12:53 your first day.
I ran a 12:22 for 12:24 the first day. 12:24, 12:15, 12:22, now a 12:37.
Okay, so this was your worst run then.
This is the worst.
Okay, never mind. I thought for some reason I had
killing my average.
For some reason I had in my head that you ran
on the spreadsheet on the mag spreadsheet. My average is 12:25.
12:25.
So if I run at 12:25 or faster, that's as bad as my average is going to be.
Do you know where you're at in the standings?
I'm third from last.
Third from last.
There's 2 other cars that are slower than me. One's got a 12:90 average, and the other one's got some horrible average. It's like 15s or something.
Now, is Chuck out officially since he didn't run today?
If you go to the spreadsheet, his number is crossed out. It's pink.
Oh, okay. Well,
pink means you're out.
Pink.
I don't know how many cars are left in our class. I think there was 17, so there's missing 4. I think there's 13 cars, and so I'm not like number 11 or something.
I didn't hear the numbers for the day, but every day we've been getting updated numbers on how many cars have shown up or how many cars have basically broke and they're out of the competition, and it's
you got to go through the spreadsheet and just count.
Yeah. But the past 2 days have taken it.
Oh, yeah. I think Wednesday was worse than Monday and Tuesday combined.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first day we lost, 16 cars?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's it?
Yeah, the second day.
The next day it was only like 30 cars, total. And then, boom, third day it was like another 30 cars.
Yeah. Longest trip of the event. And then it was the hottest day of the event. Mm-hmm. And I think it just took a toll on everybody.
And then everybody's trying to beat the rain and all that, because a front kind of grazed our route when we're going from Iowa to Wisconsin. I got stuck in that. Yesterday
at the track, there was a Chevy Nova he torqued so hard on the track that he popped the back window out and it broke on the track. I saw him today too. I saw him yesterday after the rain.
Oh, I was like, he probably got soaked.
He had no rear window and he had to drive through the rain. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that must have sucked.
Yeah. You thought your car was bad.
Yeah. Well, see, and you remember yesterday there was water in my car?
Yeah.
That wasn't from the rain.
No?
I figured it out. That's from your backpack cooler.
You put ice in it and it leaked?
Well, we had it upside down and leaked through the zipper. Like, that's what it was.
Oh, man. It was that bad? Like, you had that much?
We went to that grocery store, remember?
Yeah.
And Chuck bought a bag of ice, and he couldn't fit it in his, so he just poured the rest into mine.
Oh, into yours. Okay. I was like, man, because that was a lot of water. Like, you were...
Yeah, it was a whole bag of ice. Yeah, I had an inch of water in the car.
I told you I didn't know if that thing was waterproof or not.
So. Yeah, it is not when it's upside down. It comes right through the zipper.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom is waterproof, I think.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah. It's not gusher, but yeah, we kind of screwed up there. So.
All right, so today was a one and done day. You ran your worst run of the day, 12.
Yeah, I could have. I was kind of hanging out there since I'm staying at home tonight. I'm like, well, if all run happens before noon or 1 o'clock, I'll make another pass.
Yeah, that's the only problem with being the first running order is now if you want to run again.
You gotta wait all day.
Like if you would have been there on time and, ran right away, you could have gotten back in line and done a hot lap.
I could have hopped lap.
But circumstances kind of put you out there and you would have had to wait all day for all run. Like we did yesterday where we were there till 3
Yeah, if I would have totally blew it, like ran a 13 or something, then I would have stayed for sure.
Yeah.
No matter what.
But I mean, you still put up a decent solid run.
Right.
I mean,
it only knocked my average down a couple.
Yeah. Like it wasn't a terrible run.
And if I could keep a 12.25 average, I'd be money.
Yeah.
My goal was a 12.50 average.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm killing that.
Yes, you crushed that.
Should we do an update on the?
Well, hold on. I just want to talk. It was the home track today, so a lot of people came out today.
Oh yeah, all my friends were there.
That was always exciting. We got to see Steve came out. We had the VW Collective was in the house. They came out to cheer you on. Mindy got her little fangirl on and got her little sign in front of you, so that was kind of cool.
Yep, she brought a sign.
That was cool. It was neat. It was a cool gesture.
Yeah, it's great because Great Lakes Dragway, I love the way the layout is. When you make a pass, the return road goes right in front of the grandstands, so you can say hi to all your fans. So all my buddies, they had a pop-up right against the fence for the return road, and they were all going nuts when I drove past the one time. It was pretty funny. So then they came back by the car and says, well, I got a hamburger for you and a beer for you. I'm like, good, because I need both. Yeah, it was pretty cool to see all my friends. They were texting me during the day. Some of them, they text me, like, where are you? Because I was so late.
Well, yeah, there was a group, like, we all got there, and you're not there. You're the last man standing. I was like, oh, right, God, tell me this guy.
Tom Bailey came up to me while I was in the staging lanes. He's like, where's your buddies? I'm like, dude, I'm it. He's like, what happened? And he says, well, Chuck was doing a burnout at the boar's nest, and he got a rat knock. He's like, you're kidding me. And then I says, well, Clint, we were at the Field of Dreams, and his crank trigger went out again, and he's got some goofy crank trigger. And he's like, well, that's where it goes.
Yeah.
I says, I'm going to hold it down. He goes, cool. He loves the Volkswagens. Yeah. He likes the diversity of the whole.
Well, I'm telling you, next year we're going to push for this, and we're going to, hopefully, everybody that's there that I've been talking to, we're going to try and get more Volkswagens for next year.
See, and that's the thing. Just who cares? There's a guy in our class, he's running like 15s.
Yeah. Well, I keep telling everybody that, like, you don't need to have the fastest car. You just got.
You don't need a fast car.
Yeah, just have fun and go to these events and make a week out of it.
I mean, and you got to start somewhere.
But yeah, I mean, we can if these guys that we were talking to that are going to come out next year, we just got to keep on them. Me and Sean have a pack. We made a pack. Me and Sean docked, and we made. I'm just kidding.
This is the plan.
This is the plan. We're going to get our cars. We're going to.
And it's not really racing. You're not really drag racing. It's more of a road rally type thing.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's everything that I want to do here that I've talked about for a while about an event. It's kind of like that. It's a fun rally type event that has racing involved.
Yeah, and it's
we just need to get more Volkswagens involved.
Well, we're lucky that Tom Bailey likes Volkswagens, and he made a
special class.
A special class that's just Volkswagens.
So now we need to get some of our friends that have Volkswagens. We need to get them involved in it, and then we can grow this to something better.
I was hoping we'd have more than 3, but.
Well, next year, let's keep pushing and fighting for next year.
Because down in, how many were in Florida for Sick Week? 4, I think. 3? 4? I'm not sure.
But, well, we can work on that, and hopefully we can push them numbers up and get some more.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of guys that are talking, they'd love to do it. It was a fun event, and they'd like to be involved in it.
Yeah, as long as Six Summer keeps doing the Upper Midwest here, I'm going to keep entering. That's not a problem. If I could sleep at home one night, I'm good.
Oh, yeah, it's
because otherwise, the traveling is too much for
old man.
For this old guy, grumpy old man.
I just wanted to give you guys a little quick update. Also, I talked to the other 2 Volkswagen / Audi drivers out there. I haven't been given updates on them because I haven't, the past couple of days, I've seen them, but they haven't been around their cars, or I've been lazy. I know it's on me. But I talked to Peter today, and Peter was out there, let's see, day 2, he ran a 1026 and a 1035, and he ended up turning in his 1026. And then on day 3, he ran a 1032. And then today, he had 2 runs in. He ran a 1043, and then his second run I actually watched, and he ran a 1035 on the second run. I don't know if I didn't stick around to see if he ran a third run. When I talked to him in the pits, he said his car was hot and he was running hot, so he didn't change anything, but he just said it just seemed to be running hotter, and he couldn't put down the consistent 1026 number like he was been doing all week. And then I also found Brandon has the GTI or Golf R. I forget which one it is, but I talked about him on day 1. Day 1 he ran a 1222. On day 2, he ran a 1223. Day 3, yesterday, he ran a 1195. He was cruising there. Day 4, or today, when I crossed him in the pits, he ran a 1238. So I don't know what he did yesterday, but he was smoking yesterday, and then today he was back in.
Today the track was grippy.
It was grippy?
Mm-hmm.
So that was killing the numbers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that might have been it. But
Great Lakes Dragway always has the best prep. They're using the same equipment. It travels along with us, the dragger and all of that. But Great Lakes Dragway just has a better base to start with, I guess.
Yeah, they said. Oh, when we talked to Randy in our earlier podcast earlier this month, he said they do a lot of prep work. They put down a lot of glue, and they're constantly working on. But the track.
They have a special. Tom Bailey has a special crew that travels with us to each track. Brings a tractor.
I didn't
and everything.
know that. Okay.
That tractor with the slicks on it.
Yeah.
It's got the big slicks.
Yeah.
And then it's got the little slicks that run backwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's that travels with us.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought that was just that one. Okay.
No, that travels along with us. So
that's cool.
It scrapes or it
it's
drags.
Consistent. So.
Yeah. Well, the drag radial guys, they need crazy prep. So, and they're not going to come to this race unless they're doing prep because they need the prep. Yeah. And we benefit from it because then the track is better than a no prep track, even though it gets worse as cars run. They don't prep for us specifically, but they prep for the radial guys and the fast slick guys specifically.
Okay. But yeah, it was cool running into those guys and actually getting the time to sit down and talk to them and actually go over their time for the past couple of days, because I know I've been slacking on that. And then another guy we ran into today was Pedro with the split window bus.
I didn't see him today.
Yeah, I didn't see him at all yesterday, and I saw him today. He came over by us, and I was talking to him. He was actually, when you were in the car, we were pushing him down the line. He was there talking to me at that point. I guess that he went to the track yesterday early in the morning, and then took off right away because he was having some suspension issues with the bus, and he was hitting some of the bumps, and he was having some real problems. Mm-hmm. But he has a friend who has a shop up here, so he got into the shop and was able to.
Is that air riding that thing?
No, he's just got a just lowered beam, and then he has drop plates in the rear.
Okay.
And so he was able to adjust that and get that going. So he was out at the track this morning, and
that thing is low. He probably needed it higher because some of the railroad tracks were brutal.
Yeah, he said he was having problems.
And everybody thinks my car rides so bad. But if you rode in it, that's the best riding thing I own. It rides like a Cadillac.
Who said it doesn't ride good?
Chuck.
Oh, well, Chuck doesn't know anything, damn it.
Chuck's never ridden in my car.
Yeah, Chuck, you ain't never ridden in a car. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
His wife will tell me that thing rides like a Cadillac. Yeah. It does.
Chandra, get on that. Tell him.
Did we mention in the podcast when we went over to scales? Did we talk about that?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, at Iowa, we rode as soon as we got to the track while we were still loaded up and everybody was in the car.
I remember you guys. They had
they had a scale right there, so it's like let's roll over it. They don't care, right? So mine, I was guessing that my car weighed 2,300 pounds.
Fully loaded with all of your tools, your clothes.
I was just guessing
2 people
because it felt like 2,300 pounds, and it ended up being 2215.
Oh wow.
So it weighs almost 500 pounds more going down the road than I go down the track. and Chuck was about 100 pounds less, like 21 something.
Okay. Well, he has Charlie, so I mean,
he had Charlie, and his car is 100 pounds
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's got
automatically. You know.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of light.
Yeah, he doesn't have a cage, and he's got aluminum beam and
Yep.
stuff, so it makes the car way lighter than my tank. But yeah, it's 2215. That's what we weigh. We're only rolling down the road. It's crazy because you know it when you hit the brakes. It's like, whoa, this thing
does extra slow down. Yeah, extra space to slow down.
Yeah, before I I got 4-wheel disc brakes, so I just kind of put my foot on the pedal and it stops. Mm-hmm. Now I got to actually push on it.
Coming in hot.
And Chuck with 4-wheel drums, I bet you he's got to like stand on it.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
man.
Whoa, no panic stops here. But yeah, so are we going to talk about Chuck?
Yeah, I just want to say it was really cool talking with the guys, Pedro, Brandon, and Peter. I don't know if they listen to the podcast, but I'm pretty sure they do. So it was cool seeing you guys, talking to you guys. I'll get the final day update from you guys hopefully tomorrow so I can tell all you, the listeners, on your guys' final run.
Both of the listeners.
Yeah, all 2 listeners. All right, so let's get into Chuck and the update. What is going on with Chuck?
We mentioned yesterday that Chuck was out, and he is out. If you look on the spreadsheet, his name is.
He did not show up to the track today.
Yeah,
because he
went home.
He went home because last night he did a burnout. That was actually pretty cool. Did you see the video of it?
Yeah, I saw the video. Can we put that on the Facebook?
Yeah, I can get a copy and I'll put a link to it on Facebook.
Yeah. Put it on the Facebook page.
So after the days of running, or after all day running in the hot and the heat and the 2 checkpoints and the driving across, we got to the final checkpoint and Chuck decided to do this big badass burnout, and then all of a sudden his engine started knocking.
Yeah, that's what happens when you do a burnout with no rev limiter.
Yes. Because if you remember from earlier in the week, his MSD ignition went out, and that tied into his rev limiter and his tach and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, the tach is working now.
Yeah, he had to rewire that, but
so he's got a tach and he's got ignition, but he's got no 2-step, no rev limiter. He's got none of that. So he's just going by the tach or his ear.
Yeah,
which once you zing it up, it zings up, right? So then he nursed it over to a Burger King or something.
Yeah, I didn't get the details on that. I just know that he was somewhere off the side of the road.
So they had to, and Chuck lives kind of central Illinois, northern central Illinois.
So he was probably an hour and a half, 2 hours away
from
where the car was.
Yeah, hour and a half probably from where his car was.
Where his car was broke down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had to. Who gave him a ride?
I think Ryan.
Oh, yeah,
so
Ryan.
Ryan is another guy that was traveling with our crew.
Yeah, he's got a GTI.
Yeah, he's got a newer model GTI. So
he entered sick ward.
Yes, he was a sick ward driver along with me and Sean Milkey. Mm-hmm. And so he must have hopped in the car, and I didn't get all the details as well.
Yeah, I think Brad bought and then.
Because they were supposed to stay in the hotel last night in Wisconsin, and since it broke down, they decided to go home. And then this morning, he went to Byron and got his trailer. Then he went and picked up his car. And Sean Milkey ended up meeting. Sean Milkey was at the track this morning, and he watched us. He watched Prescott run, and he was hanging out with us. And then he talked to Chuck, and he's like, "I'm gonna go help Chuck because we're gonna tear this motor out."
Yeah, they were bound and determined. So
Ryan,
Sean, and Chuck. They pulled the motor out, pulled the motor down, and then Chuck sent me pictures of the rod bearings. I think it was number 2.
Yep, he spun number 2 rod bearing.
Yep.
But it wasn't to the point where...
It wasn't crazy. He shut it off. He didn't drive around on it too much with the rod knocking. Because you hear a rod knock, you're like, right away, something bad. He didn't drive around a lot with the rod knock.
He shut it down.
He shut it down. It just ruined the bearings. It didn't ruin the crank, and it didn't ruin the rods. The rods weren't blue. There was no big diggers in the crank.
Yeah, he said they were able to hand sand the crank or hand polish the crank.
Yeah, I guess they polished, and they didn't even split the case. They kept the case together, kept the flywheel on it.
Pulled the heads, pulled the jugs, pulled the pistons.
Yep.
They were able to access pull the rods off.
Pull the rods off, put the rods all back on with all new bearings.
So as of right now, when we're recording this, they are in the process.
They sent me a picture of the long block.
They have a long block. They just need to.
Actually, he texted me. In his car, they got to put it in, and then he's got to put the long block in the car. Then he's got to put the fan shroud on. the tin on, the exhaust on, the carburetors.
Why is he got to do all that?
I don't know.
Is it a fitment issue?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that makes your process a lot longer.
The process is long and tedious. I mean, at least mine, I can leave the fan shroud on.
Yeah.
But he can't even do that for whatever reason. I'm not sure.
So as of right now, they're cracking away at it, and we should see him tomorrow at Byron for day 5.
Yeah, it's like 10 to 11 right now. So I asked them if they're going to have it lit off by midnight, and I'm like, well, they'll let me know. But yeah, a gallant effort on their part just to make an exhibition run.
Hey man, it's
tomorrow.
Sick summer. That's how we roll.
Yeah, and that's why Chuck is so popular. He's got a never say die attitude. Chuck's done this for years. I remember one year, I forget what happened. If he dropped a valve in a head or something happened to a head, it was unrepairable. And he goes, and we were racing in a bracket racing series with imports. And he's like, and he wanted to finish the year out. And he goes, you got a head laying around? I'm like, yeah. I go, what size valves do you need? And he had like 42 intakes and 42, I think they were 42, 37.5. And I got a couple sets of heads, but they're all 44s. But I can fly cut them so they're the same combustion chamber size and just use them. They're nothing special. He goes, yeah, let's do it. So it had 44 millimeter intakes on one side and 42 on the other side. And everybody's like, well, you can't do that. It's going to run like crap and blah, blah, blah. We threw it together. We threw it together. He ran the rest of the year. The car didn't even know the difference. And then at the end of the year, he gave me that head back, which is a welded up like Autocraft Stage 3 or something. Nothing fancy.
You know what they say, heroes come and go, but legends never die.
Yep, that's right.
That's awesome.
So, so that's the kind of stuff me and Chuck have always done. Transmissions, engines. It's like, just make it work.
Yes. Make it work, finish the week out, and then you got the
kind of
rest of your life to go over what ifs and could haves and stuff like that.
Yeah, like roadkill. Don't make it right. Just make it run.
Yes. But, I mean, I'm sure he'll make it right and running, and we'll see him out there tomorrow. Hopefully he drops another 11. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, right. Well, he can. It's an exhibition run. He can run.
He can
turn
it up.
Yeah, he can turn. He don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
He can run under 1150 at least once.
So how about you? What are your plans for tomorrow? Are you gonna try and push it, or are you gonna play it easy?
Nah, I'm going to try to run a 1225 because that's what my average is right now. So 1225 or faster would either keep my average or lower it, and I'll be super happy with that. If I get close to that, that's fine. But yeah, I'm not going to turn it up. I've been turning it up all week.
Yeah, but you're not going to try and push 11? Nah. 11.99.
It's never going to run.
What would it take?
What am I going to do differently that's going to run an 11?
Some better air pressure, bigger jets, smaller jets. I don't know. You're the engine builder. You tell me what's it going to take for you to run.
It's already mechanically maxed out.
Okay, I thought you had a little bit more in you because you ran that 1215, and I thought you were like, well, I did this or did this wrong. I missed my launch, or I didn't hook up well enough. I thought you made it sound like there was room for improvement after your 1215, which you didn't even expect to run.
Right. I mean, it wasn't a perfect pass by any means, but
sounds like room for improvement to me.
But the 60-foot was outstanding for that car. I can't imagine it being that much faster. I could see it running a 10 maybe, or a 1210, but not 1199.
It's sad when your friends have more faith in you than you do. Damn it.
They're optimistic is what they are.
Hey, we're rooting for you, man.
Unrealistically optimistic.
I think we're in the realms of possibility here.
I don't have a goal of running an 11 with that car. Not like Chuck,
But it would be cool.
It would be cool. I'm not going to say it's not going to be cool to run faster, but if I could just, like I said, when I entered this, I wanted my average to be 1250.
So if you go down there tomorrow and you run a 1225, right, you're just done for the day?
Oh yeah.
You're not going to try and make another pass, try and do something different for
I'm
shits and
pack
giggles?
up my junk and go home.
No. We're all right, Sean Milky. We need to pressure Prescott to do better.
You know by now, I'm peer pressure does not work.
Oh
on
yeah,
me.
it does. When we start calling him out on a podcast, he starts.
Oh
to
yeah, yeah, doesn't work.
I'll talk to
Prescott does what Prescott wants.
I'm gonna have Tom Bailey come over and give you a pep talk.
That would be about the only guy we listen
all right,
to.
I'm gonna go. All right, I guess I gotta miss you tomorrow.
If he gives me a helmet,
Yep. Hey, Tom, I know you listen to these because you love Volkswagen.
I'll be by default. I'll be the fastest Volkswagen. It's not that cool
by default. So why not turn it up and take it?
Because the only one that gets, I think you get a helmet if you win the class, and
yeah. Well, your class, see, that's weird. What's weird is the class is so.
Oh, it's a bunch of 10-second cars.
Yeah, but it's so well. I thought there were 9-second cars running.
Yeah, I think there is some 9-second cars.
I mean, you got a long way to go to try and win the class.
Yeah. So you're never gonna win the class.
Now they don't break it down by groups like Volkswagens and Gassers and.
You'll get a mention that you were the fastest. See, it's Gassers versus Hot Rods versus.
That's what it is. Hot Rods is the one I always forget.
Versus VWs. So you'll get a mention. Each one gets a mention of the fastest gasser, fastest hot rod, fastest.
Do you know what's running the fastest in your class right now? Did you look at the thing?
Yeah, it's some gasser.
Okay, it's a gasser. Do you know what he's running?
It's a 9 something, I think.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's a blown big black.
It's up there.
It's crazy fast. So we're not gonna be. I think it's a 55 Chevy. I think with a blower and a big black. Yeah.
That sounds like loser talk to me, Prescott. I'm
sure.
ashamed, buddy.
well, I would tell you my heart is broken, but it isn't.
All right. Well, we're getting way too long for a quick update, so let's get the hell out of here. I want to go to bed.
I want to go to bed. I'm going to get up early and head to. I didn't do the checkpoints for the last day, so I got to get up early and hit all the checkpoints. Get my pictures taken with the car at the checkpoints and get to the track. We're running last.
So, yeah, there's plenty of time.
I got time.
But you never know. I mean, you could get out there halfway through the run and something stupid happens.
Something could fall apart here and really screw me. So I got the cars gassed up. I've been buying gas here. Locally, there's a gas station that has race gas, 110 in a pump.
All right, we're going to get out of here. So thank you guys for listening. You guys have a good night.
Yeah, good night. Peace out.
Peace out.
Good morning and welcome to the show. My name is Sean Smith.
And my name is Prescott Phillips, and this is Brew City Bug Talk.
Good evening and welcome back to Brew City After Dark. It is 6 summer, day 5, the last day.
The last day recap. It's almost 10 o'clock. Everything that's going to happen has already happened.
6 summer is officially over.
Yep.
Everybody ran their runs.
Yep.
People did their things.
They had their award ceremony that I wasn't present for.
I'm going to spoil it. Prescott won the award for the fastest Volkswagen Beetle in the Beetle class.
Yep.
But he was the only Beetle left standing.
It was the default thing, but whatever.
Whatever. He still won. It's a W.
Yeah, it's still a W. Yeah.
All right, well, start us off. What happened today?
We'll start with last night. Last night I slept at home because I had my car. I worked on my car here at home. But I didn't go through all the checkpoints yesterday like everybody else did. This morning I got up at 5 o'clock. I was on the road by 6 o'clock a.m. And I cruised down to Great Lakes Dragway because that's where you're supposed to start, right? That's where the directions start.
Oh, I didn't know you went all the way down to Great Lakes.
Well, you kind of have to because it was on 45.
Yeah, I guess.
I didn't go right to the front gate.
Yeah, but the route usually takes you from point A to point B. So I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got on 45. There was 2 checkpoints. One was at the Bristol Diner on 45. It was so funny. I'm going down 45. I'm like, I'm coming up on the diner, and I just look for all the burnouts in the road. I go, well, here we are. The second checkpoint was historic auto attractions. Again, road in front of the place, nothing but burnouts. I'm the only guy there. I'm taking my picture, and I blow out of there. And then I had to drive to Byron, and I got there about 8:30 maybe. I left extra early just in case something happened. I got lost, or I got a flat tire, or I ran out of gas.
Did you get there that early? Because I got there, I didn't get there till like 10:30.
I was super
and
early.
You were still buttoning up your car.
I was just...
Were you just kind of like lazy day, lazy morning?
Super slow motion.
Okay.
Where I parked, that's as many cars were in the parking lot.
Yeah.
I was at the end. When you rolled in, there was people next to me already.
It was full, yeah. The whole thing was full when I got there.
When I got there, I was on the end of the row of cars, and there was another half a parking lot to go.
Oh, wow.
The official start was 11 o'clock.
See, and that threw me off, too, because I didn't know that they pushed the time.
See, that's why Chuck worked on his car all night.
What time did they originally schedule?
Okay, yesterday at 7:38 p.m., they put out Friday schedule. 11 a.m. start, C class, AB radial, AB slick, and D class. D is what we were in, so we were dead last.
See, I knew you guys were last. I didn't know that the start time was 11 o'clock, because I purposely was taking my time this morning. You made it there super early.
Yeah, and that's fine.
You were a woman down, we'll say, because you lost your co-pilot yesterday.
Chuck's wife went back home and I kind of understand that they had a kid involved here. So if she was gone and it was just Chuck and she did the right thing, and it don't matter. I mean, I made it.
Yeah, it was the last days. There's nothing that you had to do that you couldn't handle by yourself.
Right. I don't load the car and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, you didn't have anybody to bitch about how they are unloading your stuff. I mean.
Yeah, so...
Did you start yelling at the guy next to you just to kind of make you feel at home?
No, they were all like, where's the rest of them? Like, there is no rest of them.
Last man standing. We left off last night. We gave the recap that Chuck and the two other guys were working on rebuilding the motor as we were recording the podcast.
Ryan and the other Sean. So those guys, I think they got the car running, 11:30 or something like that?
Yeah, Sean, he messaged me pictures at 11:30 of them setting the timing.
They were going to do something in the morning, though. They had some broken wheel studs, and they were going to try to find some in the morning, and they couldn't find any.
But he also did some hot runs. He had video of him.
Yeah, they took it for a beat in front of the house, right? Yep. Yeah, he was all ready to go in the morning, but they had to stop at some places and try to find some wheel studs, which they didn't.
And then
didn't succeed.
Then these guys are driving to the track.
Oh yeah.
Lo and behold,
all of a sudden I get a text. You following our journey this AM, and I'm like, what is he talking about? Journey on Facebook, and he's got a tandem axle open trailer. He lost one spindle on it.
They went to get breakfast, and they said they came walking out.
And the wheel's cocked.
And the wheel was rubbing against the side.
Against the fender, yeah.
They go underneath it, and they take a look, and the whole axle had cracked.
It cracked, yeah.
They went into panic mode.
Yeah, and the last I heard that he was going to either drive it the rest of the trip, and it had slicks on it and everything, which...
They were only like 20 minutes from Chuck's house, so Ryan hopped in his car, and he ran back and got a tow bar, and they were just going to tow bar it the whole way. And while Ryan ran back to get it, Chuck and Sean Milky started going into it, and they got the wheel off, they got the axle off, and they were able to...
Well, they just ratchet strapped the axle to the frame and leave the wheel off, so it was a 3-wheeler.
Yeah, it was a 3-wheeler trailer, and luckily it's a Beetle, so it's super light. And
yeah, they were good. So they rolled in with the 3-wheel trailer, and
everything that could have went wrong, but it's like the ultimate story of overcoming all the odds, because they made it to the tracks.
Yeah. If you didn't listen to last night's podcast, I'll recap it real quickly. His car developed a rod knock, and they decided to pull the motor out of the car and disassemble it to the point where they could get the rod off and polish the crank, put the bearings in it, and put the rod back on. Just the one rod, and then throw the jugs and pistons and heads and all that stuff on. Put it back in the car, make it run. They decided they were going to do that all that night. At first, he didn't know what was exactly wrong with, but it only takes 40 minutes to tear a motor down completely. So,
well, to back it up, he did a burnout
at the Boar's Nest.
At the Boar's Nest, which was the last checkpoint. He did a burnout, and after that, he said he heard some knocking in the engine. So that's when he was like, okay, it's probably just I probably threw a rod. I'm out. They took it back. They got it back to his house, and they got it up there, and then at some point they thought it might be, they might have just smoked the clutch or something like that.
They did smoke the clutch.
They started the car at Chuck's house. They had it idling, and all of a sudden it just seized up.
Yeah, it seized up tight. It just stopped.
At that point, he knew that a bearing was bad.
Mm-hmm.
So they broke it down, and what had happened was the bearing had spun and sandwiched themselves together, and that's
they overlapped, and then there's no room for oil between the two, and it just seized.
It just seized up, which was probably a good thing because
it was just idling, I guess.
Yeah, it was just idling, and it seized up rather than running with the bearing all mashed up. It would have ruined the rod.
Yeah, usually with a rod knock, it starts pounding it, and it starts pushing its way out the side.
But it didn't do any of that.
Didn't do any of that.
So they were able to disassemble the motor without cracking the case.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled the heads, the jugs off of both sides. They found which rod was messed up. They pulled the rod off.
Yep.
Took some emery cloth, did a hand polish on it.
Yeah, I don't think they polished it good enough because
we'll get to that.
you can kind of figure out what's wrong, what happened.
And then they spent, the three of them spent, or four of them, because it was kind of cool. They have pictures of Charlie's Chuck's son was helping them tear the motor out.
And Charlie's only, 11
years old. And so they had some really good times, like tearing the motor out. And like
he's our security.
Yeah, he's security. When we talked about security earlier in the week, that's who we're talking about.
The 11-year-old.
Yeah. They spent the good part of the evening getting this motor reassembled or polished up, reassembled.
They spent all the evening. I mean, when did they start that?
I don't know, because I didn't get a time frame of when they actually got to the house.
When they got back. Yeah. I don't know what time, but they finished at 11:30 at night.
11:30 we got video of the motor running and them setting the timing.
Yep. They set the timing, took it for a little beat run. They figured it was all good.
So they definitely bust their butts, and they got it going, got it on a trailer, got it. They pulled into the drag strip probably around 11:30.
Oh, it was past 11:30. I know that.
Well, somewhere around there.
It was around noon.
Okay. Kind of exciting because it kind of killed the vibe yesterday when we were at Great Lakes Drag Lane. You were the last man standing.
I was the only one there.
We went from three Beatles to an entourage of people to you, me, and like our friends that came and go through.
I mean, there's pictures of that one picture at Great Lakes with Steve and everybody in it. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it was good having.
But it's totally different.
We didn't have any other racers. Nobody
along with.
No one who was racing.
Yeah, nobody who was along for the adventure was there.
And so that's what kind of.
It was like a separate adventure.
Yes.
So they were working on a car, and our buddy Clint went back to Lansing. So
when they got there today, and everybody, we got the band back together. It was kind of fun. It felt normal again.
Yeah, it was semi-normal. We were missing Clint and Emily.
Emily, Mike Goody, his son.
Right, yeah. Mike Goody and Reese.
But it was still nice having the familiar faces and the other cars that they're racing.
Yeah.
So
it was so.
I keep saying so. I was listening to our show, and I didn't edit out so's, and everything's so I got to get off. It's a bad habit.
Well, you should get the software that gets rid of them automatically.
So maybe I will.
So maybe you probably should. So
all right, where was I? So everybody was back there. We were having a good time, and what time did you guys actually get called up to race at?
Well, we were last in the run order, so it was late. It was 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Me and Chuck got into the lanes together, so we could run together possibly, but we got to line up against each other, and that's what we always try to do because everybody loves that.
It felt like forever in the staging lane. Like
we were in a stage. Well, it's because the lane we were in was we tried to get there, and
it filled up quick.
Those guys pre-stage the pre-stage with the D class. They inched their way towards.
Everybody was sick of sitting around the pits, and so they knew that their class was next.
I think they started filling up the staging lanes with D cars because they were just in the way.
Yeah, probably.
Just get in line.
It was the last day, the last running order. Everybody was like, I just want to get here, get done, and get out of here.
Yeah. So we were in the staging lanes forever, and I hate Byron's staging lanes. They're uphill, so you got to push your car all the time. The best staging lanes are downhill because you just roll. Roll right up to the stage.
I think Tri-State had the best staging lanes that I can think of all the tracks we went to this week. Mm-hmm. It was a nice, flat, long
Yeah, but there's a big gap between where they are and where the track is, and that stupid steel plate.
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, there was, but I like that. I like the setup of that track. It just, they had the big wall behind there too. You can go up there and you can see.
Yeah, that was kind of.
It was kind of neat. They had a nice, neat setup.
Yeah, it was. We had a good. That was a good vibe at that track. We were all still in. We were all still running.
We were all just tired from the night before.
Yeah. The night before the pizza party was too much. But yeah, so we got some pictures we'll post of getting the band back together, or just the as many as we could. We were missing 4 people, and then we still had a lot of people.
You guys are in the staging lane. You finally get up there.
Yeah, we get up there. We stage,
line up.
and Byron's funny because you got to back into the water, which is
that's weird. You pull into the lane, then you kind of
then you got to back up into the water,
then go a little forward, then do your burnout.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb. So I line up, he lines up. I don't know if I put too much air in or not enough. I think I put more air in.
That was your problem yesterday. You felt like you didn't have enough air in your tires.
Yeah, and then I put a bunch in, and it hopped, chattered the tires, and my 60-foot kind of sucked. But the car ran pretty good.
So what'd you run?
I ran 12:20.
12:20, yep.
It was a 12:24 the first day, 12:15 the second day. Then the third day, where were we the third day? Iowa.
Tri-State.
And that was a 20. Yeah, I'll have to look at the list. Yeah, I ran a 12. Yeah, because my average for the 4 days was 12:25. Yeah, I ran a 37 at Great Lakes Dragway. So I wanted to be a 12:25 or lower, and I ran a 12:20, and that lowered my average.
Okay.
That all worked out. I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, bracket racer.
It was solid.
I mean, a 20, a 22, and a 24. Tough money.
Solid numbers.
3 different tracks, same number. Tell me that ain't weird.
But Chuck. Chuck.
Chuck pulled a Chuck, and he heard the noise, and he pulled over to the side, and he aborted.
Chuck went down, lined up. They both took off. Probably 3/4 of the way down the track, he let off. And
I looked at the video, and he said he pushed in the clutch and turned it off and went to the side.
Yeah, so he ran a 14 something with that run.
He was coasting.
That was him coasting, and because apparently he heard a noise, he might have spun another bearing, but we don't know yet because he obviously hasn't had a chance to break the motor open. But he didn't want to risk it any further damage. It was the last run. He made the run. He was happy with that.
It's funny because he was still upbeat.
Yeah, it was the last day. He was excited that he accomplished what he had to go through to get him there to run, even though the results weren't what he wanted.
Right, most people would be just madder than mad.
He had every reason not to show up today.
Yeah, he had every reason after it didn't make past to be mad. And he was like, yeah, well, it is what it is. We gave it a shot. Didn't work out. There's no guarantees.
Yep.
We did everything we possibly could do. Just came up short. That's all, But he's having trouble with the transmission.
Yeah, that was another thing too. I guess he
jumping
was,
out of first gear or second gear or whatever. He's saying it's jumping out of first. So I was like, okay. He says
earlier in the week he said he was missing second gear when he would run, and it looked like it from the video because he would take off.
It would take off all right, and then he'd go for second, and then
it would kind of bog down, and then he would take off again. Now he said today that he's
jumping out first.
It was jumping out of first,
and I'm like, I don't know, something's goofy.
He's got a transmission and a motor that he's going to be pulling in.
Yeah, said he's going to pull a motor and bring it up by me and all. And we have a spare transmission. I said, you just want to put that in? Same gear ratio. And he's like, no, we'll have time because I don't have a motor that runs. I'm like, yeah. So he wants to pull the motor completely apart, take the crank somewhere, have it polished or reground or whatever needs to be done to it, get that fixed, get new bearings, blah 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 blah. So
he wants to take his time and do it right, which he pushed to have it done so he could show up to the race today and do what he did. It happened. I mean,
there was no guarantees it was going to be all right. So.
But hey, he had fun. They had a good time putting it together. We had a good time racing all week with him. I mean, all in all, I think everybody that came had a good time.
Yeah, and Sean, Milky, and Brad they were all about. It's easy to get behind somebody that's enthused about this is what I want to do. You in or you out? And they're like, yeah, we're in. Like, okay, this might take all night. I don't care.
It was really cool that Sean and Ryan were there because
There's no way he could have did this all himself.
We kind of went through that with Clint when his motor turned off during that run. He pulled into the. He got
gave
pulled back
up.
and he was like, "I'm done." Well, he didn't give up easy. Like we had to coach him through and help push him through, and that's kind of I don't know if that was the same atmosphere that Chuck was going through, and then Sean and Ryan being there were like, "We can get this done."
Yeah,
and
you can't give up. Don't give up.
I understand the frustration.
Yeah, I know you want to give up, but you're going to regret giving up.
Yeah.
You're going to regret not finding the blown fuse.
Because when Clint started his car after he diagnosed
everybody cheered.
Everybody cheered. I know it was just a sense of relief, and he felt so much better for having not given up and got it going again.
Yeah, you just step back,
take a breath,
just go over all the things you think it might be. One by one, eliminate that as a problem and move on. You got time.
Yeah.
Just do it. But unfortunately, his car didn't last that much. Clint's car didn't.
Yeah, there was something wrong with this too, and I don't know. I haven't talked to him yet.
I understand. If it's running lean all the time, you don't want to melt the motor down because we're just beating on it. Mm-hmm. We're just cruising on the road at 65, 70 miles an hour. That is the last thing you want to do with a high-performance Volkswagen motor. They do not like that. That kind of ended our day.
Yeah. You guys finished your run. You got your solid run. One and done. Buttoned it up. Won
the fastest. Yeah, so I took off right away. I loaded up. I talked to Bill Alexander from Driven before I left about going, because next weekend we're going to Ohio for a Pro Stock race. And I says, you want me to bring any flyers or brochures or stickers or what do you want? And he loaded me up. He gave me a pile of stickers, a pile of keychains, a pile of brochures, a tablecloth with Driven on it for a 6-foot table. He's sending me a Easy Up with Driven logos on it. So
because Driven wanted to go there, but that race is sponsored by Lat, which is another oil manufacturer.
Right, it's West Coast.
And so he wasn't able to get in there for the sponsorship, but since Prescott is a Driven racing driver, Team Driven, we're like load him up with brochures and stuff. He can set up his own little mini.
Yeah, all I got to do is set up a table.
Yeah.
And an Easy Up.
I mean, you're going to be there. You might as well promote.
Yeah, and I don't have to do nothing. Just set up, put the keychains and stickers out, and
take what you want. This is who we are. Here's some information about it.
Yeah. So have
a nice day.
Yeah, we run the stuff. So and then he's trying to get into it. Driven stickers on the car and all that stuff.
Yeah, Bill's got a really cool. He just started the Driven Air Cool page on Facebook. He's trying to promote the air cool scene within a scene
within a scene.
Yes.
You got racers, and then you got Volkswagen, air cool Volkswagen racers within that realm.
And Bill's a Volkswagen guy, so he's kind of behind it because he likes the cars. And
he likes the cars. He likes the people, I think.
Yeah. He likes the atmosphere.
He likes us guys. Yeah. He likes me and guys from Florida.
Yeah, we're talking to him today, and the seed's been planted that we're thinking about making the run down to Florida for Sick Week.
Yeah, we're thinking about going, but
we got to figure out the logistics behind it.
Yeah, we got to figure out the logistics, and if he wants to sponsor us to go there, well, then that kind of makes up our mind
things
for
a little bit easier.
Yeah, if we can get a truck, or if we can get something out of them, fuel bill paid, or
anything,
a debit card with some money on it, something to we're doing some promotion for them, so you never know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. If something pans out, that'd be great. It'd be fun to go down to Florida and race cars down there. And Sick Week in Florida it's a whole different beast than Sick Week up here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Six Summer's kind of Midwest, traveling through the countryside type of deal. And Florida's not that. It's more parties and that kind of thing. So
that would be fun.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
Every time I go to Florida, I have a pretty good time. So this would be no. And I haven't been to Florida for we went on a cruise, but we didn't really stay in Florida that long. But I haven't been there and just partied with Volkswagen people since I think 2010. So And I got friends that have houses there, you know.
You have friends there? Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I have friends. No, Willie's got a house there in Gainesville.
I was kidding.
So, I'm just saying. Hey, we could probably stay at his house.
Hey, Willie, we're coming over.
Yeah, and we're going to park all our junk in your yard.
Yep. You listen to this, we'll be there next.
Yeah, he's got a house in Gainesville, and then I have another friend that has a house in Sebring, which is probably nowhere near any of
Maybe
the
we
tracks.
can get Scott.
Well, Scott's saying he's
He's South Carolina. That's not too far from there.
That's pretty far from where we'll be racing.
Just call him up. Hey, we're gonna be in Florida. We're gonna be racing Volkswagens. He'd probably be like, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in.
Maybe.
He can come down there. He can promote his event because, ladies and gentlemen, our next podcast will be a show with Scott Sains.
Scott Sains, our next show.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Couple weeks. What are you gonna put the promo out Wednesday? Then the teaser.
Yep.
Okay, so the teaser will come on Wednesday, and then he'll be the Wednesday after that.
Yep.
And then
in 2 weeks from now, you will be in Ohio for the big race that we were kind of talking about earlier. Give people a recap, just a little what is going on.
We can recap that race.
Well,
sure.
Well, actually, right now, give them what's going on. Where's it going?
It's called the VW Summer Nationals. The racetrack is Killcare in Xenia, Ohio. Volkswagen race has been going on there.
All Volkswagen.
It's all Volkswagen, and then they've had a race there for as long as I can remember, 30 years maybe. Pretty sure Drew's Off-Road Center, aka Doom Buggy Warehouse, sponsors the show, and then car show end of it is put on by a club. One of the Volkswagen clubs in Ohio takes care of the car show end of it, the racing end of it, and the swap meet and the rest of it.
So you got races, you got Volkswagen racing, you have Volkswagen car show, Volkswagen swap meet.
Yep.
What's the date of it?
The date is the 23rd of June.
So
Sunday,
June 23rd in
Xenia, Ohio.
So if you're in the area, or you're in the Midwest.
Yeah, it's a regular Volkswagen bracket race plus East Coast PRA Pro Stock race.
And you are bringing your Pro Stock drag race.
Yep, we got to get that running in the next week here, which it's close. So
that'll be exciting. We can talk about that. I mean, there's a lot of things coming up.
Yeah, there's a lot of things coming up. Everything's coming up. We can talk about
all sorts of cool stuff.
we could do some shit talking.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it for 6 Summer Drag Week. It's been an adventure. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in every night when we're giving our recaps. I hope.
We'll post a bunch of stuff on the Facebook page.
We got pictures.
We got all
videos.
kinds of links and pictures and videos. Yeah, we got plenty of shenanigans.
Thanks for tuning in and listening to us butcher names and say so 100 times.
So.
But that's all we got for tonight.
That's it for tonight.
You got anything you want to add?
No, that's it. I think that's it. I had a good time. I'm glad it's over.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in and have a good night.
Good night. Peace out.